What's up? It's Tom. Hope you're doing well. We are going to talk about the Twins system recap for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday's games. But first, I do want to have a discussion about making room for prospects and how I'm viewing that right now, right? Walker Jenkins is playing really well in AAA. Kaelen Culpepper had been playing really well in AAA as well. I want to keep him in this conversation. I can't imagine he's going to be out for that much longer. I would have expected him back by now, to be fair. So, what do I know? But Walker Jenkins, his overall numbers are solid, but he has been playing a bit better of late as well. In 20 games since returning to the Saints on June 23rd, he's at .295 with a .353 OBP and a .500 slugging percentage. That's an .853 OPS. And do want to say beyond just the overall hitting numbers, he's a guy who takes good at bats. He's a guy who runs the bases really well. He's a guy who brings defensive value as well. So I don't want to completely say that, that line tells the whole story. But we'll get back to that in a second. But I do think no matter what happens with the Twins at the trade deadline, Walker Jenkins and eventually Kaelen Culpepper will be making their major league debuts at some point this season, assuming health. Knock on all of the wood, of course. But that second point, no, I do not think the Twins need to trade any bats away to make that happen. I think you can fit both of these guys on the active roster now if you felt compelled to do so. But a point on Jenkins, he's hitting well. Let's contextualize that line, though. An .853 OPS since returning to the Saints. That's a bit better than his overall line, but let's stick on that .853. The full season OPS for these guys in AAA, .934 for Aaron Sabato, .932 for Kyler Fedko and Matt Wallner, .909 for Alan Roden, .889 for Ryan Kreidler, .868 for Kaelen Culpepper, and .864 for Ben Ross. So, yeah, Jenkins is hitting. He's doing well. And again, he brings more to the table than that slash line. But if you want to argue that Walker Jenkins should be in the big leagues, I'm not going to argue against you. But I will say Walker Jenkins is not driving his way into this roster. He's not slamming down the door right now, in my opinion. He's playing well, but he is not we need to find a place for him right now. Or even though we're in a playoff race, we need to create space for this guy immediately. But I think you could have Walker Jenkins take Alan Roden's spot. Alan Roden doesn't have anything less to prove in AAA, but if we're talking about prioritizing Walker Jenkins or Alan Roden, I think Alan Roden's going to lose out on that one. And then Kaelen Culpepper could take Alex Jackson's spot. Again, where this conversation is around how could we possibly pull this out with everyone staying. So in this scenario, Ryan Jeffers stays. You don't need Ryan Jeffers, Victor Caratini, and Alex Jackson. I think Alex Jackson's around right now because Ryan Jeffers might get traded, or they're already planning on Ryan Jeffers being traded. If Jeffers survives after the trade deadline, I don't think they're going to carry three catchers. We'll see. So, again, those would be the two spots you could take. Kaelen Culpepper becomes the primary shortstop, allowing Ryan Kreidler to move into a super utility role. Jenkins would take over as the primary right fielder, which would mean Luke Keeschel would have to play in the infield more. Probably more second base, unless you like Cody Clemens there that much more. You could have Luke Keeschel play first. He has played first in the minors. But my thing about Luke Keeschel at second base, is he a good second baseman? No, he is not. Should that be his future defensive home? Maybe not. I think there's a good argument to say no there. However, at the moment, is Cody Clemens that much better of a defensive second baseman than Luke Keeschel is? Maybe I guess if you want to make the argument that in this scenario you would move Ryan Kreidler to be the everyday second baseman to just have a primo, defense. I guess I could get behind that. But if you're going between Keeschel and Clemens, I really don't think there's not that big of a difference. Luke Keeschel's not a good defensive second baseman, but neither is Cody Clemens. In this scenario, Royce Lewis would become a platoon bat. He would get most of his opportunities against left-handed pitching because you have Clemens, you have Larnach, you have Jenkins in this scenario, but you also have those guys playing against righties. So some people would probably find that abrasive. Royce has been hitting better since returning from AAA. But I don't trust him. I don't trust him. A lot of swing and miss, a lot of chase. His swing is complicated right now. Yeah. I wouldn't feel bad about moving him into even more of a part-time role. Also, just Josh Bell could sit more. He's played a ton, Josh Bell. And if he sits more, Byron Buxton can DH more, and there's how you're opening up outfield opportunities for Jenkins as well. So, sure, yeah, absolutely. Trading some guys would make it easier if you want to squeeze Jenkins and Culpepper in on this roster. Absolutely. You don't have to do that to fit these guys into the roster. And again, Culpepper hasn't quite returned yet, but hopefully sometime soon. Anyway, again, moving on to the Twins system recap. Here are the results from Monday/Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Minor leagues don't play on Mondays, so that's why that's put that way. And the win-loss records for each of these teams. See down there. News and notes. The Twins announced they've signed all 21 of their 2026 draftees. Von Lackey got a $9,497,500 signing bonus, which is $242,600 below slot. So they saved a little bit of money on Von Lackey. Also, Carson Tinney came in below his slot, so they were able to invest $2.25 million into their third-round pick, high school pitcher Ethan Waxman. His slot was $1.2 million, I think. So he got over $1 million over slots. They had to kind of get creative there. So, yeah, I'm not going to run through every single signing bonus, but that was kind of the two big notes. They signed everybody, number one, which doesn't always happen, but the Twins are pretty focused on being able to do that. And then number two, Waxman's bonus. It was pretty easy to see that he was going to be a big bonus guy. I think he ended up getting the second highest bonus in the class. And if you've seen the Limestone Pipeline midseason top 20 list, we valued Ethan Waxman basically that way. And I've not seen a lot of other lists put Ethan Waxman as high as we did, but Jamie and I are pretty excited about him. As a reminder too, I will update my personal rankings on the channel here after sometime in early August. I'll wait till after the trade deadline. So keep an eye out for that. Also, Tristan Gray and Woo-Suk Go were both optioned to St. Paul. Jack Anderson was promoted to the Twins, a guy they claimed from the Red Sox, and he actually earned a save in that extra inning win against Cleveland. Garrett Acton has started rehabbing with St. Paul, and Julian Merriweather has been activated from the IL by the Saints. So those are two guys with big league experience in that bullpen picture. Again, there's no lack of guys in the picture who have experience. It's that the Twins need someone to raise the ceiling of the bullpen. I think right now is what they're going to be looking for. But there's options. There's the guys they can turn to in terms of filling out the bullpen. They don't need any more of those guys. They're covered there. So moving on to the stars of the day on Tuesday, Chris Valamont, a guy who'd been in the Twins system previously, back again. Had a nice game for Wichita. Danny De Andrade, who's been having a nice month. Playing a little bit more around the infield, getting to play shortstop once again, which it's been a while for him. He was 2 for 5 with a home run. And then Graham Brown, a guy that they got out of indie ball, playing for the Colonels right now, was the star of Tuesday, going 2 for 4 with a home run, a walk, a run, and 4 runs batted in for Cedar Rapids. One of the honorable mentions I want to call out, we have Merrick Houston, Caden Kendall, Yasser Mercedes, Eduardo Tait, and Irvin Nunez. But Houston, he was hit by 2 pitches and exited early in this game on Tuesday, but returned to action the next day. Didn't miss any time other than exiting that one early. So that was a relief to see that. Moving on to the 3 stars of Wednesday, 3rd star catcher Luis Hernandez, who's with Fort Myers. He's kind of like a roving extra catcher in a way. There's usually a guy like that in the system who kind of moves around as teams need a spot. And, of course, they traded, Ryan Sprock got promoted and then traded, so Fort Myers could use some kind of catching help, at least until maybe some of these draftees who signed joined Fort Myers. 2nd star Aaron Rozek had another really good game for the Saints. A guy who tops out at like 88, but a crafty lefty if you've ever seen one. 4 innings of one-hit ball for him. Nice outing. He's driving hitters nuts, even though he doesn't have that velo. Almost you can think of him like a left-handed Bailey Ober almost, but Hendry Mendez, the first star of the day. Haven't been talking about him as much, but he's playing well. 3 for 4 with a home run, 2 runs, and 2 RBI. Really hasn't slowed down a ton since moving up to AAA. On 44 games with the Saints, Mendez has a 391 OBP. Honorable mentions for Wednesday: Matt Wallner, Ben Ross, Miguel Briseno, Enrique Jimenez, and J.P. Smith II. There are their numbers there. It's a pretty good offensive day on Wednesday. And then we got some pitchers on Thursday. It's been tough for pitchers to break this, but third star Gabriel Gonzalez of the Saints. He had hit a walk-off 2-run double for the Saints on Thursday. So big ups to him as the pinch hitter. Second star Reed Mooring in Fort Myers' Game 1. Gives up 1 run over 5 innings. Did give up 8 hits, but pitched around those for the most part with a 1 run, struck out 5. And then in Game 2, Merritt Jones also pitched very well. He threw 5 innings as well, but he did not give up a run, and he struck out 6. So 5 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, and 6 strikeouts from Merritt Jones. He's on a roll. He had a 2025 draftee. They're having some of these guys they drafted in the later rounds that kind of fit their old profile of more pitchers than throwers. Really blossoming in Fort Myers in particular, and then some of them have moved up to Cedar Rapids now. But Merritt Jones, after having pretty rough back-to-back outings in June, really has been on it. His last 6 outings, he has a 1.16 ERA and 25 strikeouts and 23 and a third innings. So, maybe Merritt Jones is a guy who's going to be promoted up to Cedar Rapids before too long. Tuesday's honorable mentions: Kalai Rosario, Corey Lewis, Merrick Houston, Eduardo Tait, and Jason Bass. And then I do want to call out Cole Sands is rehabbing with the Saints. Yet another guy in that kind of bullpen picture. So, of course, if the Twins are intent on competing, that's the easiest place to look to say they need help. But they do have a bunch of options that are around. And Cole Sands is probably going to get activated from the injured list before too much longer. Star scoreboard update: Merrick Houston continues to sit atop the list and have quite a comfortable lead. Kind of seeing him getting some respect these days. I believe Fangraphs had him pretty comfortably in their top 100. I didn't give that one a good detailed look yet, but I did notice his name on there and love to see that. I think I've always been a little bit higher on him. I think people are kind of catching up, but I could understand if people didn't think he was going to hit this well, because I didn't even think he was going to hit this well, even as somebody who was kind of high on Houston. He's been awesome. But Ben Ross taking sole possession of second place. Again, Kaelen Culpepper's been out for a while. He's going to have to return with a vengeance if he comes back and doesn't get promoted. And you see there on through the top 10. Let's take a look at July. We're getting to close to the end of July, and Houston also has been atop this month. With his teammate Caden Kendall and also teammate Kyle DeBarge. So the Wichita Wind Surge having some guys having a nice month. It's been a really hard year for that team, but some of these guys popping up. Good to see some pitchers on this list too. Ryan Gallagher and Merritt Jones are currently fighting for star pitcher of the month. So we'll see how that resolves itself. Some other guys in the mix beyond here as well. But anyway, thanks for checking this one out. Again, check out Limestone Pipeline on Patreon. Me and Jamie Cameron do that $4 a month if you're interested. If you're not interested in paying, there's always free content on there as well. So check it out. You can even sign up as a free member. So check that out. But thanks for checking this one out. I appreciate you. Let me know what you think about that Jenkins Culpepper take, and that they don't necessarily have to move guys. Am I crazy there? What do you think? We'll talk again soon.